What in the heck fire does the movie Groundhog Day have to do with personal finance? Let's find out. Welcome to the Groundhog Day Guide to Personal Finance from your money mom. I hope you'll enjoy this take on some of the qualities you need for a good money life and just handling your finances in the best way possible. So we're going to talk about Groundhog Day. If you're not familiar with it, you need to run, not walk, to your nearest library, or really just order your own copy of this great movie. It came out first in 1993. It's a classic. Bill Murray plays a weatherman at a local television station, Phil Connors, who gets stuck living the same day over and over again, and it's Groundhog Day. And there will be spoilers in this video, fair warning. Part of the movie's point is to see how Phil can break out of living the same day over and over again and the lessons he learns from it. So it's a great movie. We watch it every year on Groundhog Day, and if your family doesn't, you should definitely look into it because it's a great movie. So, but when I considered the movie, I thought there were a lot of qualities that relate to personal finance that people can have. So we're going to go over some of those. These are some of them. I'm going to talk about the movie a little bit in each of those and also how we can apply them to our financial life. And eventually, I want to do videos on each of these qualities and podcasts on each of the qualities to delve into those a little bit more. But this is just going to be the basic overview. So first, one of the qualities that's good to have for personal finance is optimism. Now, this can be good and bad. Optimism for Phil is learning he can live the same day over and over again at first and no consequences as a result. So he does a lot of crazy things and steals money and does all that. And so it can be akin to people when they first are living their financial life, they get a credit card and think, oh, this is free money. I can spend whatever I want. Not realizing there, in fact, are consequences to spending a lot of money. And but at the same time, you can have optimism in a good way by considering the fact that you are you can have optimism in a good way in knowing that you can achieve your goals, you can do better with your finances every day. That's one of the reasons I have the saying, you're doing well with your money and you can do better. There's always something better to do. The second quality is diversity or diversifying or variety in your financial life. And this could be everything from where you have your retirement accounts or your streams of income that you have or just different ways that you pay for things. But it can also be the diversity in the way you spend your money, in not just spending it all on yourself, but being generous. This is an important skill. And then for Phil in the movie, his diversity is just stealing money or doing whatever he wants because there seem to be no consequences, and he keeps living the same day over and over. The next quality is realism. Now for Phil, that comes when after he goes through his optimism phase of thinking, oh, great, no consequences, I can live and do whatever I want. Then he realizes he has to live the same day over and over. And he kind of goes through a depression and just seeing that the clock go over to 6 a.m. every morning is almost too much to bear for him. But realism in your financial life could be, first of all, if you've made some mistakes or gotten into credit card debt, you may think, oh, wow, I really have gotten myself into this. But realism for it, really putting down what your situation is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, can be very helpful in just having a realistic picture of where your finances stand, and then that can help you with changing that and turning it around. And that is a little bit of what happens to Phil in the movie. The next quality, I'm not ranking any of these qualities, by the way. I think they're all in many ways equally important, but I do think there are some that are a little more important than others. And goals would be definitely towards the top of that list. Having financial goals is really important, whether you are doing well with your money and you have plenty of money, or whether you are struggling with money, or whether you're just not sure what to do with it. Setting financial goals can really help you focus and achieve things much more than if you just are winging it in terms of paying off a debt, or in terms of saving for a special goal, or paying off student loans, things like that. Really vital, and I certainly go through that with clients when I'm coaching them, but also there's a lot of ways to just do that individually on your own, and then try to hold yourself accountable to that. The next quality is persistence, and for Phil Connors in the movie, it's where he really chips away at learning to play the piano. He wants to learn how to play a musical instrument because the person he loves, or realizes he loves, he wants to attract, and he knows if he can play the piano well, that might impress her. So at first he's terrible, and he needs to keep doing the same thing over and over and get better and better at it. And it's the same way with finances. Sometimes we think, oh, I'm never going to be able to understand the concept of whatever it is, a 529 plan or a Roth IRA, or paying off my loans. But the persistence to keep at it and to chip away at those things, you will find you really do develop some good skills that way. Another quality of personal finance is ability, and this is really the result of having persistence with something. So for Phil, it's learning to play the piano well, or one of my favorite parts of the movie, because I'm a huge Jeopardy fan, is when he memorizes all the answers to a Jeopardy episode, and there's some funny online articles about that episode and how he did it, and really one of the funniest lines in the movie. Some of the funniest lines in the movie. So having the ability and knowing that you have it, it can be very empowering for your financial life, as well as helping you understand where you need to grow as well, because you can have a lot of skills and abilities, but still need to learn. And it's sort of like knowing that you don't know certain things. That's even true for me. I know a lot, and I can share a lot and coach people, but I'm always learning new things as well. The next quality is balance. So for those watching the YouTube video, I have a picture of where Phil every day catches the same kid falling out of a tree to kind of rescue him. And he says at one point to him, "You never say thank you." So that's how I'm illustrating balance. Balance in your financial life is not all rice and beans, or not all just being profligate with your money, but really having a good balance. So you might have some really audacious goals, or you might have a large debt that you need to retire, or you want to have a good emergency fund, or save up for a down payment for a house. But that doesn't mean you can never enjoy yourself or do certain good things with your money. Having that balance while at the same time attacking your goals can be very good. One of the great expressions here related to balance is you can have anything, but not everything, right? So you can attack your goals as well as enjoy some treats. Having that balance while at the same time attacking your goals can be very good. But knowing there can be a balance there is really important. Our next quality that's really important to have in your money life, and again, I would put this high up towards the top, just like goals, is the concept of margin. Margin is just critical in all areas of your life, but especially related to money. In the movie, Phil doesn't have margin. He's overeating when he learns he can live the same day over and over and not have consequences. He rushes through days to try to attract his beloved, and those days end up with her slapping him over and over again because he's not left margin in there in his own way. Why is margin important in your financial life? Having a solid emergency fund, for instance, that's margin. So if an unexpected expense comes up, you're not stressed about it. Having a good space between what your obligations are, your mortgage or your car payment or other payments, and your income is very helpful to have a good chunk there to work with, so you can use it to reach some of your financial goals. A great analogy for margin is wanting to allow extra time to get places. This is something I wish I could be better at, and when I am, I always love it. So what I mean by this is, let's say I have an appointment at 10 a.m. And it takes me 10 minutes to get there. If I leave at 9:40, ideally, then if I get stuck in a little bit of traffic or there's some detour, I will still get there on time and not be stressed and all kind of, and if I do get there early, great, I can read a book on my Kindle app, or just a book if I've brought one, or just look at the magazines in the waiting room. And having that margin is just really reduces the stress in your life and is a great quality to have. In your money life, even more so, having that margin of space between how much you spend and how much you earn can really open up a lot of doors, and trying to find a way to increase that margin is really important. I go over that a lot with my clients, and you can certainly do that yourself by setting goals and reducing some of your expenses. The final quality that's great to have in your financial life, also that should be really at the top here, is generosity. So for Phil Connors in the movie, it involves really his ultimate lesson he learns from the movie, which is being good to others, being a good person is important for its own sake. But it also makes him happier. It makes him have a great day by being kind to others, being generous. So Phil helps a homeless man and is very kind that way. Even though he's done it many times before, he catches the kid falling out of the tree again and again. He buys insurance from Ned Ryerson, his childhood friend, which is not necessarily a good personal finance decision, but as being very generous. He gives WrestleMania tickets to a young married couple. And just in general, he learns by serving others, by being generous. That is what is going to make him the happiest, as well as everyone around him. That's why generosity is so important for your financial life and just your life in general. Now, if you're watching the video of this, I'll have some quotes right after, some of my favorite quotes from the movie, and I invite your feedback however you're watching or listening to this.